When you come to Ghana, you've time traveled, you've gone back in time. I believe you should definitely respect your elders, but I don't think you should always listen to them. Don't question it. Don't ask nothing. Take it as it is. Whether you understand it or you don't understand it, that's your business. This is what it is. Now, there are certain things that coming from the West that we shouldn't bring here. Like that culture is seeping into some of our black homes, and we are coming to Ghana with some of that. Like Ghana does have to progress in certain things, right? There are new things that we need to be open to. There are new things that we need to learn. The more of us from the diaspora that come back, we are coming back with a different way of thinking. Ghana is not going to remain the same. Ghana has become more liberal, right? There are certain things that you leave your child in Ghana, sometimes they can become worse. There are some instances where nepotism can be good, and push them out of the way and adapt Ghana to make Ghana UK. Hey guys, welcome back. All right. Today's video, I want us to make this a little bit interactive. So I really want you guys, as we go through this video, for you to give your opinions as the video goes on, right? So it's more of a conversation. I guess it would be great to do this live, but I'm not really much of a live person, so I'm just gonna pre-record this as I normally do. All right, so what I want us to talk about is how the diaspora is changing Africa and some of the consequences around that. Now, for me, I am very big on there being some type of partnership, right? When it comes, we'll talk about Ghana, right? When it comes to Ghana and Ghanaians and those of us from the diaspora, like we have to find a way to mesh together somehow in order for us to live in harmony. And so I tend to have a lot of conversations around this because I feel like, especially when it comes to how we in the West can be so different to how Ghanaians are. So this conversation came up. I have a lot of conversation with my partner and we talk about different things, right? He was born in Ghana. He was here until he was of a certain age, until he went to the States, right? And so he sees both sides, and I kind of see both sides because I've had an insight into Ghana. And we can see certain changes and things that are no longer the norm. If you know anything about Ghana, Ghana is, I would say, it's like the West, but it's behind, right? It's almost like when you come to Ghana, you've time traveled, you've gone back in time. And so when you come here, there's certain things that I would say are great. Like, oh my gosh, we get to have this back. When you look at things like in terms of respect, respect for your elders, like when you talk about community living, when you talk about a village being able to raise children, Ghana will give you that. That still exists here. But we have to also understand that the more of us that come back that have had experience, we've touched the West, we're coming back with changed mindsets. Things that make Ghana beautiful and make it peaceful, some of those things we're coming to change. And now I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing or a wrong thing. Some of it's for the good and some of it maybe not so good. Some things we need to work on a little bit. And that's what I really wanted us to discuss in today's video. So for me, one of the things that I would say about me so this is a conversation we're having and I've said this on camera on somebody else's show actually. I said that, when it comes to respecting your elders, I believe you should definitely respect your elders, but I don't think you should always listen to them. And I know that's controversial. And the reason I say that is because the way that I grew up is, and a lot of Ghanaians grew up, probably more so than me, was that when someone older than you says something, that is it. Don't question it. Don't ask nothing. Take it as it is. Whether you understand it or you don't understand it, that's your business. This is what it is. And a lot of us have grown up with that, where there's certain things we can't talk about. It's said like how it's said, and that is it. It's none of your business, right? So anytime there's somebody who's older than you and they say something, it's what it is. You're not allowed to question it. You can see it even in schools. There are certain schools here where, your child goes to school and they're told that this plus this equals this. And the moment you ask, oh, but what about this? Now you're considered rebellious. And that's not just for schools. That is very, very widespread here in Ghana. Like there are certain things that you cannot say. You just can't say because it's seen as disrespectful. And to some extent, some of it, sometimes it's good because I feel like, you know, children have their place, right? There are certain things like, no, you shouldn't like, be quiet. It's not your time to speak. Yeah, there are certain times where it's like that. And there's certain times where there has to be a balance because you have to be able to give your child opportunity to understand things. And in order to be able to understand that process, right, there has to be a little bit of exchange. So you say this, your child will say this until they either understand where you're coming from or you have to open your mind to what they are saying, right? Things change so much. There are certain things that our children will know that we as adults, we don't know. We've not been enlightened yet. Like if your child came to you some years ago and said something about AI, you'd be like, what are you talking about? What rubbish are you talking about? You have been watching too many films. Like go and sit down, go and read a book. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's a generation that is changing. And so sometimes when you come to Ghana, you have this older generation that can be stuck in their ways. They're not willing to look and open their eyes to certain things. And you can't speak to them. There's certain things that you can't do. Now, there are certain things that coming from the West that we shouldn't bring here. It shouldn't be brought here. All that back-chatting business, like, hey, who are you talking to like that? But sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to understand that we have to raise our children in a particular type of way, right? Because of the disadvantage that Black people have for starters. But sometimes when we move to places like Ghana, we bring certain things with us that is not necessarily befitting to the country. Now, I'm not trying to say that your children should put up and shut up and that's it. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that there has to be a little bit more of a common ground. Because we're not trying to, you know, some of us in the West, let's be honest, we have allowed our kids to talk to us anyhow. And we take it. We even tell our kids sorry because, yes, you are right. But we've allowed them to disrespectfully. I'm not saying we say sorry to them because we have actually done something, but we say sorry to them because they have a dominance over us. Like that culture is seeping into some of our Black homes, and we are coming to Ghana with some of that. Like in Ghana, like I said, Ghana is very much community living. Like the village raises your children, right? Like there is that culture of if you're on the street with your child and your child's been disrespectful and a Ghanaian hears it, hey, you don't talk to your mother like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're helping you raise your child. And so, I mean, raising children is one thing. It's just one aspect of it. But I feel like we have to try and get a balance between the two worlds because Ghana does have to progress in certain things, right? There are new things that we need to be open to. There are new things that we need to learn because Ghana is changing. And let's be honest, the more of us from the diaspora that come back, we are coming back with a different way of thinking. Ghana is not going to remain the same. It's going to change. The same in Africa. Africa is going to change because more of us are coming who are opinionated, who think things should be done a certain way. You know, we can look at LGBTQ, we can look at certain things that are now popping their heads up in Africa that is changing. It's changing the Africa that we know of. You know, I was saying yesterday when I was speaking to my partner that, you know, when you were younger, to bring your child and leave them in Ghana was like, that's a form of punishment. Like, you want to behave that? I'll send you to Ghana. And there was a reason that people said, I'll send you to Ghana. It's because they knew that Ghana has a certain type of discipline. You can't run your mouth anyway. You can't do certain things. You're going to learn about some struggles and now appreciate where you're from because you may have to go and fetch water in the morning. You have to wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. and start to sweep. Like there are certain principles that are going to be instilled within you if you come here. Now, the more of us that are coming here, we are wiping away certain of these principles that gave us a good foundation. Because even for me, I wasn't raised in Ghana, but I was raised in a particular type of way where there's certain things that you don't do. Like I can't speak to my parents anyhow. I'll be scared to do it. Like, hey. You know what I'm saying? But yet you hear other people speaking to their parents in any type of way. Like they just say anything by heart and there are no repercussions, you know. And so although there are certain things that make Ghana Ghana, there are certain things that need to change, but there are also certain things that we from the West need to also change when we come here, right? So that whole thing of now, you know, you come, leave your child in Ghana, let them learn some things. It can be good to expect it to an extent, right? But it's not even like that anymore because Ghana has changed. Ghana has become more liberal, right? There are certain things that you leave your child in Ghana, sometimes they can become worse. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, your child can become worse. You drop them here, leave them here. There are certain things that they will learn that they didn't learn inside the UK. They will learn certain things. And because Ghana is changing so much, people's eyes are being opened. Social media has allowed access. Social media has allowed the West to come in with not so good things. I remember seeing a comment from somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but the person was like, they didn't know the word nigger was a bad word. They just thought it was a word that people use, like this cool word. It was a cool word that people, they didn't actually understand where that word had come from. But now you come to Ghana, you hear people saying, nigger, 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 nigger. It's like, do you know what I'm saying? Whereas from the West, that's disrespect. Like, who you talking to like that? But here it's glamorized as being maybe part of the rap industry or, being part of American culture. Not so much UK, but like American culture. That's like a word you say that you are a certain type of way. That's how it's seen because we don't understand where certain things are coming from. And so the more the West leaks into Ghana, we almost have to have a way of controlling or explaining. There needs to be some type of common ground where we understand that, okay, this is great, this is not great. This is great, this is not great. We have to be able to do that in order for Ghana to be great and in order for us to not be taken advantage of and for us to just progress as a country and as a people. The video where I talked about family members who walk into businesses and take advantage of the business because they feel like they are entitled to a stake in your business, right? That's very much ingrained in here. But for the more of us that come back, we begin to wipe out these things. Like, that's not happening. We're not dealing with that. Do you know what I'm saying? Our eyes have been opened as we've been in the West. We know that, hold on, I don't have to employ you. We see it different now. I don't have to employ you in my business just because you are my blood. I can give you certain things and help you in certain ways, but you're not ready to come into my business because of X, Y, Z yet, right? And so we have to build these principles so that we can wipe away certain things that are not good in Ghana because we've learned a better way to do things. We have to be able to use some of the experiences that we've had in the West and bring them to Ghana to make Ghana better. So nepotism shouldn't exist that strongly. Now, I think sometimes nepotism, it's not so much of a bad thing. It can be beneficial. Like, I don't see why, if you can open a door for a family member who's qualified to do something, that you shouldn't necessarily do it because it is nepotism, right? Excuse me. I believe that there are some instances where nepotism can be good because certain doors just won't, the way that Ghana is, certain doors just won't open up for certain people because of whatever, right? It's hard to open up these doors. Same like when it comes to school, the group of people that you went to school with can open up doors for you because simply by association. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But then again, there needs to be balance in it. So when you know better from the West, you bring better here. We should be able to run our businesses better. We should be able to say, okay, well, I'm going to open this business and I'm going to employ people from the diaspora because they understand the mission that I'm on. This is what I'm trying to achieve. And then slowly you bring other people in, right? And let them see this is the setup of the company that I have. This is how we want it run. This is what we're doing. As someone said in a comment, we put in contracts for certain things. These are the repercussions if you don't do things properly. Get your family members to sign those contracts too, because it's a business and that's how you run business. You don't say because they're in my family, I can't give them a contract. No, give them a contract. This is what it is. This is what I'm expecting from you. Give them a job description. You're hiring them, give them a job description. This is what is expected of you. And this is what you have to do. You see, so we bring some of those systems and some of those things from the West and we injects them into Ghana, but there's certain things that should not be brought here. And like I said at the beginning, when it comes to back chat, the disrespects that some of us experience in the West when it comes to things that our kids have been exposed to, that should not come with us. And again, certain things in Ghana here, we need to wipe it out. And that wiping out certain things in Ghana is a hard road because a lot of Ghanaians don't want to change. They don't want things to change. They're happy to be a particular type of way. But we have to be open to change because that's how we develop. That's how we get better, right? So, for example, I'm just going to give a random example. Say you have like a farm, a cocoa farm, right? And everybody hand picks. Maybe there's going to be a point where machines will pick for you. And that is a faster, better, more efficient way for the country as a whole, right? This is just an example, right? It may work better. Like maybe, even after the things have been picked by local people, right? The cocoa has been picked. Maybe it has to go onto a conveyor belt, and that conveyor belt makes the process, the whole manufacturing process, quicker in some respects, right? A lot of Ghanaians don't want that to happen because you're taking our jobs, you're changing things. That's not how it's done. And right, sometimes they're right. Certain things shouldn't be changed, but sometimes it is that the technology needs to be brought in order for us to be more efficient, in order for us to not be taken advantage of, where someone else will say, well, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And that's what I always come back to the Chinese and Lebanese. They bring certain systems here that will knock out certain jobs or knock out things from the local people because they found a better way to do it. And I'm not saying that those things shouldn't be brought here. They definitely should be brought if it's going to better the system. But we should be given a chance to learn how to operate those things, right? So the locals should be trained to be able to operate those machines, if that's what it is, if it's to turn to a machine thing, right? They should be given the opportunity to learn that. They should be given the opportunity to expand their skill set, right? And that's very much what we have to do when we come to the West. We have to have patience when it comes to training, because you can be talking to people that have had no idea about certain things. I remember, we might laugh at some of these things, right? But I remember I had someone who was working for me and they'd never eaten a burger before. He didn't know how to pick up a burger and eat it. Now, we might laugh, but that's the reality of some of the things that we are dealing with. We're talking to people that have never seen certain things. And that doesn't mean that they're dumb. It just means they've never had the exposure to it. There's, we can always apply things back to the West. There's certain things that we have never seen in the West that we hey, is that how it works? Like, we too will become like a child. Like, we've never seen it before. I haven't seen some before. Do you know what I mean? And so this is what we're doing. Like, when you come to Ghana, I said already, things are on a lower level. So you're able to see them more widespread than you see them in the West, because some of the things that we don't have access to see is because it's the wealthy that, are dealing with these systems, so we haven't seen them. So it doesn't really affect us in our daily lives. It's the same thing here, but it's at a lower level, and so therefore we experience it much more here. Like I said, the person that doesn't know how to eat a burger, he's never had it before. Like, what is it to him? It wasn't even food. He didn't even want it. He was like, can we go and get something else to eat? Because that's not food to him. And that wouldn't be food to many people. And that's why sometimes, if you come here to Ghana, you open up a burger restaurant or some of these fish and chip places, they struggle for a while because Ghana's not built on food like that. And although these things are, maybe Ghanaians will eat it once in a while. Oh, this is new. Let me try it, It's not something they're going to eat every day. So your business is not going to turn over every day because we're not used to that. But obviously, the more diasporans that come back, the more there is opening and access for some of these businesses to be able to thrive, right? Burgers now becoming more popular. People are like, okay, let me get a burger. I want a burger. People don't eat burgers in Ghana like they do in the West. We can make homemade burgers. That's something I can't imagine, walking into an African house and saying, Mom, can you cook us burgers today? What do you mean? Even when I was in the West, we don't cook burgers like that. Occasionally, Saturdays, maybe, yes, we're allowed to do English people's food. But the rest of the week, we're eating Ghanaian food. Yes, because this is the staple that we have. Fufu, you're going to eat it. Banku, okra soup. Those are the things that we're eating here in this house. Yes. You know what I'm saying? If you want a little bit more flexibility, then we'll have jollof. At least jollof is a little bit more acceptable over there because, fufu, you invite your friend to your house, you're having fufu, what? What is that? But now, again, some of the things from Africa, Ghana now are being transferred also to the West. But I would say it's a bit of a slower rate. So, now people are open to, is this the fufu that I've seen that people are eating? And they're willing to try fufu. Whereas before it was embarrassing. You look at someone's house what's that smell? What are they cooking? You know what I'm saying? But now people are more open. So some things from Africa are also being leaked into the West. It's almost like there is this mesh of things happening. But it's like I go back to the beginning of the video, how do we work together to ensure that we remain stable and we remain respectful and keep certain things that are good for us and be able to layer on top of that to make systems better and make the country work better, but without losing things that, so without losing these things, right, that will make the country better and not bring in too many things that is going to spoil the country. Like, where is the middle ground? That's why I was saying this video really should be interactive so we can talk back and forth. Maybe one day I'll pop on live and we can talk about it. I don't know, but we'll see. So it's very much about that. It's like, how do we work together to make Ghana better? How can we really, from the diaspora, come back and make impact here without being so individualized? Because we from the West, we come here very, very an individual mindset. You know, there are a few people that come with community in mind, but for the most part, we're all coming here. We're just trying to struggle to survive. And what I mean by struggle to survive, I'm not necessarily talking financially, but we just want better for ourselves and our families first, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but that's what we want. We want to be able to sort our families out first, and then when our cup overflows, then we help the community. There are a few people that come and they want to help the community, and that's what they're doing, especially if you're single or whatever. You want to come and you want to make an impact. But how do we do that without disrespecting the culture that is already here? Like I said, there are certain things that, we need to like get rid of that. Like, you should be able to ask questions. You should be able to do X, Y, Z, right? But then how do we keep the culture? And that's where once we can get that formula right, we can boom. Because now we have an understanding of each other. We understand how certain things work. We understand the mind of the other person, right? And that's going to change the more of us that come back, but we come back with open minds and open hearts to receiving what is here and also being able to gently give our views on certain things and improve in little ways without disrespecting the culture. And that is what a lot of local people don't like. They feel like when we come from the West, we are pushing ourselves too much. It's almost like walking into someone else's household and saying, you need to change this, you need to change this, you need to change. That's not working. You can't come here and do that. You have to do things gradually so it works and both parties can see. Because there's certain things that are brought here that now Ghanaians are like, this can work, huh? You know, like when it comes to construction, there are certain practices that just were like, what kind of nonsense is that? You know, I can even talk about solar. Solar, like, what is solar? It's a foreign concept at one point in Ghana. Like, what is solar? Who wants that? Because they didn't have an understanding of what it is. So you come in and preaching solar. Who are you preaching to? They're not ready to receive it until more people come back, start using it, and more people can tell them. Like when they start meeting other family members that are like, I spoke to this guy, he's talking about solar. He's installed solar for me. I have solar. Now they understand, so the lights have gone off and your house still has power. Like they've graduated from generator to solar now, where it's we're now talking about sustainable living. So now Ghanaians get to understand what is sustainable living. What does that mean? You mean that when the ECG, the electricity goes out, that there's still a way to power your house that doesn't destroy the environment, doesn't destroy, it doesn't give fumes everywhere, like there's healthy ways to do certain things, right? You open their minds, but you can't force yourself here. You have to take things slowly, and that's why I say when you come to Ghana, you move slowly so that people can be receptive to you. If you come in as a bully, nobody's listening to you. Everybody has shut off because you're just a bully. And that is the perception that we need to change when we move here, when it comes to local Ghanaian people, right? We need to move slowly and with tact so that we are understood that we're not trying to take away from the culture. We're trying to add on to certain things to make things work better for us as a whole, right? As a people that are trying to improve the continent and not as people who are trying to come and take and push people, Ghanaians out of business and push them out of the way and adapt Ghana to make Ghana UK, make Ghana America. We're not trying to do that. We have to understand, so we have to tread carefully. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comment section. I would love to know more about things that you have seen change in your time in Ghana here, things that you think that perhaps we should get rid of, things that should be implemented more here, things that perhaps maybe we need to bring, like, is not happening fast enough, like that ish needs to hurry up. Like, let's talk about it. We've said it before, like, we shouldn't be losing power at this stage. Like, what can we do to stop the lights going out like this? What can we do to make sure that we always have, every community has constant running water? These are some of the things that we should be talking about, okay? Now, if you are interested in moving to Ghana and you want to hear more about how to move in the best way possible, how to make your transition a good one, right? So that you don't hit too many stumbling blocks, you can send me an email to dela@moretodela.com. I am offering consultations if you would like help in that respect. Also, I am building a network of businesses here in Ghana. Send me an email to dela@moretodela.com, and we are building. We are making changes here. We are doing great things. And so that's it. Let's continue to talk in the comment section. So guys, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Nutifafa.
Me wind and rain, you're some kind of